I think you look so much like
that very pretty actress, Busy Phillips.
Thank you very much.
What's going on, YouTube? I'm BB Futurology, and this is my top 10 moments of Big Brother 8. Obviously, spoilers ahead, don't say I didn't warn ya. And if you like this video, consider hitting that subscribe button, because I'm making a video just like it for every Big Brother season. And before we dive in, let's talk about some Big Brother 8. The season was pretty good, but oh man, was that house toxic. Dick was so confrontational. There was never really a dull moment in that house. Also, I feel bad for Eric, who was basically forced into being America's player, and that was easily the reason why he was evicted later on. And I would love to see how he would fare on a regular season with his own control. And this was a season of firsts. We had the first slip and slide competition, the first hide and go veto. Even some of the modern music was used for the first time. It really felt like a kickoff to a new era of Big Brother, which makes me wonder if Big Brother 22 will close the chapter of our current era of Big Brother, the way it felt like the original All-Stars closed out the first era of Big Brother. Well, without further ado, let's hop into the top 10. Number 10. So one of the twists this season is that 3 people in the house had an enemy that would enter the game, someone from their past who has bad blood between them. So there's Dick and Danielle, a father and daughter, where she hasn't talked to him in 2 years. Then there's a pair of high school or middle school rivals, Jess and Carol, which, how does this pair compare to the other two? It almost seems like one pair dropped out last minute and they had to squeeze in an alternate pair of enemies at the last second. Then there were 2 ex-boyfriends, Joe and Dustin, and all is good until Joe tells the house guests why they're enemies.
Here's my quick 30-second story. Somehow, I immaculately conceived gonorrhea. What? Oh my god! It was negative, you...
Holy crap. I don't know what I was expecting, but this was way out of left field. Also, loved Dick's genuine reaction hearing this. This was genuinely hilarious, and this was the beginning of the end for Joe's game because he was so extra about this whole situation. Number 9. So one day Mike and Dick are both napping, and Jen walks into the room and starts talking. I think she was talking to the cameras or something. Honestly, it's a little unclear. But she woke Dick and Mike up, and Dick is pissed. And to be honest, I would be too. If I was ever in the Big Brother house, I think sleeping and situations around sleep would be my Achilles heel. I also get super grouchy if someone wakes me up at the wrong time. So I feel this anger that Dick has. So Dick calls out Jen for being inconsiderate, and they have a little blow up.
I will wake you up every single night when I go to bed.
Okay.
I will do everything I can to make you the most miserable bitch in the house.
I am amazed at Jen's composure during Dick's shenanigans this season. Very impressive stuff that most others would not be able to do. And forewarning, usually I get to include most blow-ups in my top 10, but if I included all of Dick's blow-ups, this would have to be a top 50 moments video. Number 8. So this season, Eric was the America's Player twist. So basically each week, America would vote on who Eric should target, who we should vote out, and also other funny bits for him to do. During the 3rd week, America wanted Eric to vandalize something that belonged to Jen. So Eric proceeds to squirt mustard all over Jen's shirt. Then Eric kicks back while everyone tries to get to the bottom of who done it. And then my favorite line happens.
If anyone ever puts mustard on anything of mine, I will beat the living.
This is a much lighter moment, especially because Jen took it in stride. But I love how Eric pulled this off so effortlessly, and fingers were being pointed at everyone but at him. Number 7. So week 3, Dick wins HOH, and he's adamantly going after Jen and Kale, so both of them are on the block. So come to the veto competition, you have to balance this cup on your hat. And slowly this competition evolves into making people laugh, so you drop the cup. Then the only people left are Jen and Dick, and everyone is trying to make Jen laugh, except for Kale and Mike, who are focusing their energy on making Dick laugh. Which, come on, do you think Dick is going to laugh at you guys? This dude gets so serious when he's angry.
So you want to go on the block?
Dick, come on. Quit playing games.
You'll be up if she goes, dude.
And this would be the moment where any sensible player would be like, okay, you're right, Dick. I'm sorry for messing with you, and then back down. But Mike doesn't, and Dick throws the competition to Jen. This has got to be up there as one of the worst game moves of all time, right? I mean, yeah, it's not number 1, but it probably cracks the top 10. I mean, Dick warned him and gave him time to back down, and he didn't, and he absolutely shot himself in the foot because Jen takes herself off the block and Mike goes up, and then later, Mike goes home. Number 6. So one day, everybody happens to be pissed at Jen at the same time, but for different reasons. Dick is mad that Jen threw a competition to Jameka because Jameka promised to use the veto on Jen if she won. So they have a mini blow up, and then Jen vents to Dani, and Dani is pissed because Jen has been mean to Dani all season because she's jealous of the Dani-Nick showmance thing. And then Dani blows up at Jen. Jen, as usual, is super calm and tries to defend herself, and then Dick comes in and defends Dani, and he casually pours a drink on Jen's head. Jen completely just takes this like it's nothing. Dick and Dani walks away, and Jen says this to Dick.
Can't all be 12. Just so you know that
Shut
I'm
up.
haunted by heroin.
Say it to her face then, not when she's away.
She was right there.
She know when you say she's 12. Shut
About Dick, because he poured tea on my head.
This almost gave me BB19 vibes when everyone was just ganging up on whoever was the target that week, but I loved how calm and composed she was during all of this. Seriously, this was very impressive of her to be able to do this. Number 5. So during an HOH competition, someone sends a banner plane over the backyard. It says, "We love Nick, Eric and Amber are liars, LNC is the nerd herd." So, wow, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, LNC is the nerd herd is hilarious. It's referring to the friendship from season 6, who was also referred to as the nerd herd behind their backs. Also, because of Eric being America's player, he had to throw some hinky votes in the past 2 evictions and was lying about it, so this plane was basically calling him out for it. And Dick and Dani both jump on this and jump to the correct conclusion that Eric is the one doing sketchy stuff and throwing weird votes. So Dani ends up winning this competition, and she wants to backdoor Eric this week. Now Dani tells this info to Jessica, which, kudos to Eric and Jessica because they're full on showmancing at this point, but they're actually hiding it well enough so that Dick and Dani are comfortable enough to tell Jessica about the plan. Well, Jessica tells Eric about it before he goes up, but she also tells him not to tell Dick and Dani because it'll blow up her spot. So what does Eric do? Instead of going to Dick and Dani to try to prevent him from being nominated, he actually goes to the rest of the LNC and starts prepping them for his backdoor and lining up the votes for him to stay. Eric successfully turns his entire alliance against Dick and Dani, and they're the ones blindsided at the eviction when he doesn't go home. This was truly some impressive stuff from Eric, even with a banner plane that called him out. Number 4. So you thought that last point was crazy? Well, that week was actually even crazier. So this was a weird form of storytelling for BB, but I actually really liked the way that they revealed this information. So they start with Dick talking to Amber shortly before the eviction, and he reveals to her that Eric has some deep dark secret that he can reveal at any point to turn people against her if he needs to. Then they flash back to a week ago to Eric saying all this information to Dick. He doesn't reveal the secret, so at first I thought Eric was just making something up out of thin air, but then Inception style, they go another flashback level deeper to 2 weeks ago, and Amber is telling Eric about this time she lied about being pregnant to her ex-boyfriend. And hey, if you're on BB and you don't want a story to get out, don't tell it, because the live feeds are a thing. I mean, come on. But then they go back to the original scene with Dick and Amber, and she knows exactly what Dick is referring to, even though Dick doesn't. Then Amber goes and calls Eric out about this, and Eric doesn't say a word this entire time, at least in the show edit. But she just tears into him.
You know what? I haven't lied once in this house, not one time to anybody in this house. And you're gonna hold one thing of my personal life against me? How dare you? How dare you, dude? You have balls.
And at this point, before all this went down, Amber promised on her daughter's life that she would vote Eric to stay. So she asks Dustin to be the deciding vote and vote Eric out so she can keep her promise, but Eric still goes home. However, Dustin doesn't want this to happen. So he just tells her what she wants to hear and says he'll vote her out, but then he doesn't, and Eric stays, making Amber a blindside in this eviction as well. Number 3. So after this week, it's the LNC versus Dick and Dani. So basically 5 versus 2, and Jess wins HOH. She puts up Dick and Dani, and Dick knows they're targeting Dani, but he wants to do everything in his power to protect her. So his plan is to get everyone to hate him so much that they have no choice but to evict him. So Dick goes off and starts doing the pots and pans. They even introduce a song for him whenever he starts antagonizing someone. Oh, whoops, wrong song. Yeah, that's the right one.
Cigars, cigarettes, cocktails.
But Dick totally gets bailed out this week because Eric gets tasked with targeting Dustin, and he gets Jess to flip too, and they just completely blindside Dustin and implode the whole alliance. So I can see why America did this. I mean, we always root for the underdog, but damn, this pretty much changed the whole course of this season and really screwed up Eric's game. I feel like Eric could have won this season if it wasn't for the way America's players started taking him this week. Number 2. So after some classic Jen being annoyed by Dick, she decides enough is enough. She storms off and grabs his cigarettes and starts ripping them up and throwing them all out. This was a bold move. A few minutes after she stormed off, Dick's cigarette sense goes off and he starts investigating. So he looks for them and he notices they're missing immediately. And he asks her about it and she completely ignores him. Then Dick goes back into the house and finds her clothes and brings them upstairs as ransom until he gets his cigs back. Meanwhile, Jen has had enough. She's supposed to be on slop and she just says screw it and decides she's gonna eat.
Oh no, before I'm eating.
Then the other house guests are pissed off at her cheating slop. Then Dick comes back outside and blows smoke in her face and she loses it. Which at this point, I feel bad for her. You can tell she's on the verge of crying and she's not handling things well. And she tries to be aggressive towards Dick and grab his cigarette and he straight up burns her. And she doesn't back down. She keeps going for the cigarette. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't get expelled for this. I feel like if this was any other 2 house guests, it would have ended in an expulsion. But maybe BB let this slide because she was somewhat antagonizing him. Either way, I thought this was a bit much, but it was a really intense scene nonetheless. Number 1. At the final 6, Dick and Dani decide to target Jess, but they don't want to tell anyone this. Between them, they have 2 out of 3 of the votes, so they control the way the votes go. They come up with this plan to tell Jameka that she's going home, so that Jameka thinks she's dead in the water, and then at the last minute offer her a deal so that she can't refuse. So they tell Jameka she's going home. Jameka tells this to Jess, so it gets around that Jess is staying. Then right before the eviction, Dick talks to Jameka. He says, here's the deal. There's no negotiating. It's either a yes or a no. They're going to vote to keep her, no putting up him and Dani together, and her vote is theirs from now on. No telling Eric. If Eric finds out, you go home. So he strong arms her into this intense deal, and she has no choice to say yes so she can stay. And this was a really great move. I mean, she didn't win any HOHs or anything, so it didn't really do them too much, but it was a pretty creative and great move in my opinion. Quite possibly one of Dick's best moves in the game. So that was my top 10 Big Brother 8 moments. Were there any moments you think I should have included, or anything on the live feeds that I missed? Let me know down in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe because I'm making a video just like it for every Big Brother season. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Danielle, who, you know, is the pimp, and ED is the hoe. And Danielle pretty much orchestrates, okay, this is what we're going to do. This how you going to get that money. ED, enjoy.